All right, welcome and good evening, everyone. It is Monday, November 2023, and let's jump into the markets today and our trade account, see what we did on the session today. Let's jump in, get started. All right, let's take a quick look at SPY. So SPX was up, ended up 33 bucks up today. So SPY up $3.47, up 0.77%. You can see here on the daily, pretty solid up day. I mean, it opened the session and just kept marching higher, finished just off of its highs on the session, but it was a steady grind higher. If we take a quick look at the day trading piece here that I use, I can just get a sense of what happened in the market today as a whole. But here's the open, and from the get-go, you just had a grind higher all day long. Got a little even out, so from really about 11 a.m. all the way to about 1, and then again another spurt and march higher, and then a sell-off towards the very end of the session. We spent a portion of the day just bobbing in and out among this 3 ATR line. We broke above it around 1 o'clock. We hovered above it for really about a good almost a half an hour to an hour, then dipped below, broke back above it again, and then just rode it higher until it started to finally level out here. The thing with the 3 ATR is when it's moving a little more sideways like this, it's a good time to use it as a level that will bounce off of and head lower or sideways. But when it's moving up at that 45-degree angle, you just stay out of trying to pick the opposite direction and stay out of the way. If we're looking at the 15-minute here from the open, again, we broke above it. We just rode that 3 ATR higher all the way to the end of the day where we finally got that downside action. So pretty strong day overall in the market, and really was unrelenting to the upside. But here's again, in white, this is the 3 ATR that we gapped above back on the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and now the 20th, even more. You can see how RSI continues to climb into overbought mode. MACD trying to roll sideways, but not a real big drop up, just really a consolidation sideways. But overall, strong bullish PSAR, 21's moving above the 50. Both of those are above the 200. All three of them pointing upward on the daily. All three of them pointing upward on the weekly as well. And you can see that on the weekly, MACD has been moving higher, finally crossing positive today, as well as RSI continuing to move higher. So really strong and not overdone at all on the weekly. So there's more upside potentially on the weekly chart. I think on the daily, this is extremely oversold. But now you've got the 3 ATR starting to turn up, but RSI is overbought. RSI is overbought. You're above the 3 ATR, well above the 2 ATR, and getting further and further from the 21 moving average. So at some point, I think you got to pull back, but that time is not right now. If we take a look at the Qs, here, same exact story, just got it, just opened and ran on the session, RSI into overbought territory. One thing to look at here on the weekly, so I put the squeeze on so you can get a sense of what the squeeze has been doing here. But for the last, until today, okay, for the last 7 weeks, we have been in a squeeze. That's a pretty good long squeeze. So for 7 weeks, even with the last 2 weeks being up, you've been in a squeeze, and MACD and RSI have been moving higher. So obviously a break to the upside was in the cards. And then this week, really, the squeeze fired. So we've been in a squeeze, firing to the upside. You saw that pent-up demand really getting unleashed today. So on the Qs, a little bit different, stronger signal than you're getting on SPX. All right, here's the IWM moved up today a little more than 0.5%, 0.58 of a percentage. Weekly, moving higher, MACD and RSI. Daily, MACD and RSI moving higher. And we're getting close to the 3 ATR, but we're not quite there. 21 EMA still remains below the 50 EMA, but both rising a bit here, and we're also below the 200 moving average on all of them. So right now, it's just a bounce in a bearish move, but let's see if that starts to reverse itself, if we can get these moving averages squared away and rocking higher. We have recovered a ton of ground on the percent of companies trading above their 50-day moving average here. Just a week ago, okay, we were down around 48, 49%. And in just 5 trading sessions, we erupted to almost 70% of stocks now trading above their 50-day moving average. Now you're starting to get into that overbought territory. Now, RSI definitely overbought here on the daily, but now you're getting back up into this area where at about 90%, that's where things start to really tip over. So can you ride this higher? Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on it. But another sign that we're getting overbought, but the market can stay overbought for quite a while. Put call ratio dropped further. This is just such a bullish indicator right now as we just continue to move these moving averages lower, which is moving the markets higher. Looking at the VIX here, VIX dropping all the way to 1341. I mean, it's just the VIX volatility is just absolutely dead right now. Looking at the US dollar on the session today, dropping again all the way down below the 3 ATR on the downside. And this thing's starting to accelerate its move. You got MACD and RSI on the daily heading lower, as well as the weekly heading lower. In fact, I think we can probably just get rid of this channel to the upside. We could probably even get rid of this previous pivot level here. And now we're really just looking at a downtrend. I'm going to draw it through this, even though we got a little bit of a peak above. I'm going to draw it here. So right now we're downtrending on the dollar, and it's a pretty precipitous drop. So we've gone from really a high of about 107 all the way to 103. So not quite 4%, but pretty doggone close to 4% in, I don't know, 6-7 weeks or so. It's a pretty good drop on the dollar. And we're getting back into this area, but we have now broken below on the weekly. We've broken below the 21 and 50 moving average. We're well above the 200. And on the daily, you've got the 21 EMA breaking below the 50. So a pretty bearish looking US dollar, which is pretty good for stocks as well. Taking a look at the 10-year Treasury today, tried to move up a bit on the session and then ended back towards its lows of the day. MACD still trying to recover. RSI flat to sideways on the daily. And if we look at the weekly here, MACD has definitely been moving lower, as well as RSI. So with rates moving down and then back around this 4.4% or so, then you've got the TLT then obviously moving up, and we've been playing this up move as well in the stock. So we're playing ZB. In fact, we went long on a new ZB trade today as well. All right, taking a look at a few of the Forex pieces here today. Pretty big up move on the Aussie dollar, pretty big up move on the British pound, pretty mixed day on the Canadian dollar as it just consolidates sideways here. It's a good area here to potentially look at a strangle or something else on the Canadian dollar as we see the Bollinger Bands really starting to squeeze a bit on, especially on the daily. And the weekly, you see things pointing lower. So we're still in a pretty good down move. And then if we also look at the euro, pretty good update today as well, hitting the 3 ATR level with RSI getting overbought as well. Weekly's not quite there yet, so weekly could have some more upside to go, but this has been a really great move for the euro in here. All right, bonds. We've talked about this briefly with TLT. I like what bonds are doing here, and we're certainly participating with those a bit. You had a rising wedge here that we've been monitoring now for about 2 weeks, breaking above just barely on Friday, and then breaking above it again today. Here, MACD been pretty much flat to slightly down, but RSI has been heading higher on the daily. And if we look at the weekly, MACD has definitely been heading higher. So you've got a MACD that is in a nice solid uptrend here on the weekly. And then you've also got this RSI that's moving higher in here as well on the weekly. So weekly, everything in a pretty good bullish mode. And we took advantage of that today by putting on a 112 trade in ZB. So in bond futures, 30-year Treasury bond futures, we had a new 112 trade here. Oil. This thing has just been on a rock and roller coaster now for a couple of weeks. So it's been just heading lower, 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 4 straight weeks down, and got a pretty good little bounce today. Last week, head lower, headed higher, and kind of finished in this like unchanged level. Pretty good doji here of indecision as MACD and RSI were heading lower. And then really looking at the daily, though, big move up on Friday and another good follow-through day to the upside today. So 2 really good up days on oil. Huge for our portfolio. Really great for our naked puts. Good for our strangles. Good for our 112 trades. I'm heavy into oil. I love oil in here. We might have moved up a bit too quickly, but we'll see. I like it here. If oil continues its march higher, it's going to be fantastic for us. If we look at gold, it's just moving sideways. MACD and RSI moving just slightly higher on the daily chart, bouncing off the 50 and 21 EMAs and running higher here on the daily. Not any kind of a perfect setup, but not a bad long setup, I think, as you start to get these crossovers. But if you look at the Bollinger Bands, they're definitely getting tighter. So volatility, pretty tight right here on gold. I think getting ready to make a pretty good move in one direction or another. And if I had to guess, I'd probably say to the upside, but you are in a downtrending channel here. We'll see what happens. If we look at oil volatility dropping today, still elevated, but continuing to drop. And then gold volatility is just, the air has come out of this thing completely from the upper 20 range here, almost 19, all the way down to 12 and a half. So gold volatility as on this move keeps coming out. And then live cattle, this we have a strangle on in live cattle. It's a pretty strong move up today and then finished lower on the session. MACD has been improving, so the downtrending move has been running out of steam. And we'll see what happens with RSI coming off of oversold, but just moving sideways. And that's totally fine with us. We have a strangle here. I like where we're positioned on this overall. So there's our futures. Taking a look at the sector winners and losers today. The big winner was, again, semiconductors. Unbelievable move. 14 all the way to 24. So that is a $10 move on a $14 strike. This is up 71% in just over 3 weeks. 71% in 4 weeks. Unbelievable rise, well above the 3 ATR, way overbought, and you've got NVIDIA earnings tomorrow after the bell. So I think we're going to just hang in there and see what happens. Here's the tech stocks today, and so that was up 4.5%. Tech stocks up 1.5%. We already looked at the NASDAQ, pretty much the exact same scenario. Boy, RSI just continuing to get more and more overbought as we go. On the daily, on biotech, continues to roll higher. Still not overbought, so good shape. Up over 1% today. Communication stocks up today, now touching the overbought areas and breaking the 3 ATR. So you are just overbought all over the place. Real estate up 78%, hitting the 3 ATR. Pharma up another 70.72% today. Retail up above the 2 ATR, and retail up another 0.6% today. Bottom of the barrel, utilities just down fractionally, 0.3% down, and your regionals taking a little bit of a breather after a pretty good, steady up move here. Moved up, gapped, filled it, came back, gapped, and now taking a little bit of a breather sideways, but hanging out right at the 3 ATR with MACD rolling over just a tad. So we'll keep an eye on those sectors. And then looking at the major index or major stocks today, starting with your Magnificent Seven, you've got Apple here continuing to power over and filling this gap. So the gap from Apple now has been officially filled for 3 days. We'll take that off the mark. We can take these downtrend channels off. We'll see what the next trend looks like. But right now, moving up on the weekly, MACD and RSI, moving up, but overbought RSI and over the 3 ATR. But the ATR bands both pointing up. So you are definitely in a decent uptrend here, of which I'm not going to touch anything to do with Apple, but it's up almost 1% on the day. Microsoft having a great day, another new all-time high. Some good news for Microsoft on the AI level today, bringing in some heavy hitters on AI for them. But MACD and RSI, continuing to move higher on the weekly, and then MACD flat and overbought here on the daily, but still solid looking. I think it's just a little overdone. We just need a little bit of a pullback. Market's very overextended. Amazon just consolidating sideways as MACD rolls over a bit, but RSI is just hanging in there solid. But if we look at the weekly is in a squeeze. So we got weekly in a squeeze with MACD and RSI heading higher. Again, we saw this earlier in one of the examples on that we showed earlier, and now you've got something similar on Amazon. If you're in this weekly squeeze, which has now been going on for 8 weeks now, that's a pretty good opportunity to potentially see some kind of a bust move higher here. So let's see if we get any kind of a pullback and a move higher, but you continue to be in this squeeze. We'll wait to see what the trigger is on it. Is it the break above here definitively? I'm going to redraw this area. Okay, where we peaked above it and then couldn't make it, and peaked above it again today. After a nice couple of day pullback closer to the 21, I think you're getting ready to see Amazon potentially make a move. Meta also in a squeeze right now. So Meta is in a squeeze. Look at these tight Bollinger Bands on the weekly, starting to open up to the upside and starting to move higher as well on the daily. So I think you're getting a bit of a move on Meta. So Amazon and Meta on weekly squeezes, moving higher. Google also in a weekly squeeze with MACD and RSI improving. This thing is moving its way up after the gap. We filled the gap. That's taken care of. MACD rolling over a bit, but RSI still strong. It's not in as long of a squeeze, only 2, last week and a little bit this week. However, I like its position here, not too extended as well, even though it had a pretty good V-shaped recovery and now some consolidation. I gotta like Google. NVIDIA also in a squeeze, heading into earnings tomorrow after the bell. We'll see what happens. And then Tesla not in a squeeze. This thing's just consolidating sideways here, maybe getting ready to make another move. Right now, things are overextended, but also very bullish looking. I still think that on the weekly charts, I think that bodes really well for a year-end rally. Is the Santa rally already here? Did it come early this year? Maybe, but I think we could still get some more upside into January from where we are now. We'll see what happens, but can we potentially hit the, Tom Lee, I think talking 4,800 on SPX by January. I don't know if we get that high, but I think any kind of a pullback here and then subsequent rally, we'll see what happens. And let's take a look at our account. All right, so on the account today, we finished with delta down around 50. So a 50 delta, extraordinarily delta neutral. Love where we are there. Theta, 1,067.32, a little bit low on theta. However, Netlick moved up again today, 329, 980. If we look back here, where's that 331? Okay, I'm sorry. Here it was. So we are a little over $1,000 away from a new all-time high. So from a Netlick standpoint, in fantastic shape. BP remained pretty much unchanged at about 54%, and that's also with, again, 10% of our BP being going to bill, actually about 7.5% going towards BIL here. And then daily realized, we pulled up $200 today. We'll talk more about that. That takes us to 21,273 in monthly realized income, 6.65% up for the month. So we're having a fantastic month overall. And then Netlick is also up over 3% for the entire month. So realized gains, 21,273. Netlick also up around 10 grand, over 3% for the month. And here's where we are. We'll take a quick look at close. Pardon a little bit of a mess here on the tracking spreadsheet. It's being completely reworked. You can see I'm adding some pivot tables here to track how we're doing by not only wins and losses, by category, by month. So you can see, so I'm redoing the entire spreadsheet. We'll be giving that to members as a bonus here in the next week. So there's a little bit of a Thanksgiving bonus heading out to members. This will be one of the most detailed trade tracking sheets anywhere. But let's just take a quick look at today. You can see that we did a 0 DTE call spread today. Worked out perfectly for us. We put it on at 35 cents, took it off at 15. The only problem for me was I only went in about half the size I normally do. I like to put in around $700 in credit because, again, I want to spend about 0.5% as my max loss. So if I take a 2x loss, 0.5% for me on a $320,000 account would be somewhere around $1,500 or so. So I don't mind putting on $700 to $800 in credit, but I only put on $350. I only got in 10 contracts, but you know what? We'll take the $200 win for just hanging in there today. Phenomenal 0 DTE success. We're going to cover that more with you guys as we go, but I'm waiting to get this entire spreadsheet completely redone. You'll see how it looks here in about a week or so. And then if we take a look at the small account, nicely delta neutral and even slightly negative delta, which is where we've been for about a week now. Netlick pretty much stayed unchanged. So Netlick's been right around that same level now for about 4 or 5 days. Really hasn't moved a whole ton. BP, though, dropping to about 22. We're going to get some trades on in this. We're already up over 4% for the month. I've already made my month in the small account, so this one's doing perfectly fine. But we're too low on BP. We're going to get some trades in there as well. If we take a look at the IRA today, IRA moved up higher. I believe this is now a new all-time high. Yep. New 239,810. So I think that's it. Oh, 239,901. Yeah, so this is it. So a new all-time high in the IRA today. BP dropped to 40%. So I'm going to try to get some trades back on here in this account. We've got some things to take off, so I'm not too worried about the monthly realized yet. We've got some 112 trades that we'll be booking in the IRA. So new all-time highs in the IRA And right now, we're just biding our time to close out a few 112 trades here. Some were closed out a little early last month, so we don't have as many on this month, but we're still in good shape. So that's where we are. We're up, 0.6, 0.5% on the month, but we'll be closing some trades on that. All right. If you're not a member, come join us in the Discord. Come find out what we're doing here in the Discord. You can see what we're trading, giving some members some great ideas. In fact, we posted a whole bunch of stuff here in the last couple days. Yesterday, a bunch of trade ideas. We had a 112 trade on NASDAQ idea, NVIDIA, synthetic covered strangle in NVIDIA. This is a fantastic trade, 38% return in about 6 months on that trade, and potentially more. We had a Canadian dollar futures trade idea, copper futures trade idea, a gold 1222 idea, as well as some ZB 112 that we put on today, and then a live cattle strangle. So if you haven't been here and you want to check us out, this is the perfect time. We're giving you a discount to join in. It is a Black Friday sale, but it's all week this week. If you're not in, get into the Discord, see what we're doing, take advantage of the little Christmas, Black Friday special that we got on. If you go to our Discord channel, the Mr. Top Tick, you can key this in. It'll be in the description below. So I'll give you the link, and then the code is 40 off, 40 OFF. If you use 40 off, 40 OFF, it'll get you 40% off the first month subscription here. And don't take it from me. See what everyone else is doing here. You can see all of our trades posted live. You can see what we're trading, what we're posting. Igor calling out, new bear trap that he's got on, naked puts, bear traps, everything Igor is doing. You can catch all of my trades live in here, so you can see what I'm doing and interact with members on each trade. You can see the small account trades, the IRA trades. You can catch Gabe's trades. You can see what he's doing year to date. If you want to, branch out a little bit from some of the stuff I'm doing, Gabe, one of the best traders ever. Igor, one of the greatest traders I've ever seen. Here's what Gabe's doing so far. Up only 497% annualized on the trades he's sharing with members right now. He's posted 28 trades, over $9,000 worth of winners, $1,000 worth of losing trades, 24 winners, 4 losers. He's got a win rate of 86% on that, and he's averaging a little over 1% a day return. Pretty nice return. So if you want to see what Gabe's doing as well, you get that as well. Come and chat with us in the Income Navigator chat, and then see what we're doing in the forum. A lot of different trade journals from our members, hedging discussions, tons of back tests as well. Huge forum opportunity here. You can see what we're doing. We've got a meetup coming in February. If you want to come join us live in person, most likely in Orlando, Florida in February. Get out of the cold, come down. We're going to put 2 days of training and some warm weather for you. Some trade journal stuff here, some 112 things. There's always members putting something in here. We talk about tax accounts, how to set up your own tax accounts as well. Going over our spreadsheet, different trades that we have. If you're not using Option Net Explorer, get in on that as well. So lots of stuff that you can learn from here in the Discord. I certainly recommend that you jump in, see what we're doing. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and check out Trustpilot, see the reviews there. Best trading group, bar none. Don't hesitate to join. Amazing education for the short vol trader, 5 stars, tons of information. They're super, especially like how transparent the group is. Okay, only show winning trades. No, we're transparent. You get winners, you get losers, you get everything. No better service, 5 stars there. awesome opportunities here for people. Again, another 5 stars after 20 years of consistent returns. Finally found Mr. Toptic. Tom and Igor have helped teach hundreds of us how to fish for ourselves, pick profitable stocks. So come and join us, see what we're doing. There's another great review. If you're struggling to be consistently profitable, join the group. Come see what we're doing. Best overall trading service I know out there. So there's a lot of great opportunities. If you're not in, okay, you're missing out. So come and join us. Get on the horse. Click the link below. So look in the description below. You can log into start your membership, but use the promo code 40OFF, 40 off. Get started. We only put a limited number out, and it's not a sales pitch because we don't do that stuff. Rarely do I pitch hard, and I'm pitching you hard today because I think this is a great opportunity. It's a great time of the year to get your house in order, get your trade plan in order. Okay, we're going to allow 200 members, and that's it. And right now, I think yesterday we had 50 people join. So as soon as those 200 memberships are gone, it's over. Yes, it sounds salesy, but I want you guys to get in. I want to help you guys. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe. We'll see you guys in trading. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.